Okay, so this is the 2021 week 3 radar plot. Okay, this is a 5-target plot, and this is you're going to be collecting data for R and M times 0 and 6, and then plotting the relative motion lines, and then calculating direction of relative motion, speed of relative motion, CPA, and time of CPA. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is this is for people that are in quarantine, and anybody that just wants to practice this again at home, which is probably what everybody should be doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to collect the data. Okay. Now I'm going to collect them in the order from the heading line clockwise around. So this is going to be target 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to collect the data in a couple of different ways, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect it, for now, you can see right here that it's noon. We're going to collect the data, and then we're going to start the clock. And then it's 6 minutes later, we're going to collect the data again, okay? What you're going to do in that 6 minutes, okay, between the time that we collect the R's, okay, and the M's at time 6, is that you're going to plot the range and bearing of all these targets. We're going to collect the range and bearing from the screen. You're going to plot that range and bearing for each of those targets on the on your transfer plotting sheet. Okay. Now, on your transfer plotting sheet, okay. So you have a plotting sheet. Okay. Looks something like this. Okay. And you're going to write the data for target 1 up here, the data for target 2 here, the data for target 3 here, the data for target 4 there, and then over here on the side somewhere you're going to have to write the data for target 5. There's only 4 boxes. First we're going to write the time for 0, 0, then we'll write it for 0, 6, and we're going to get the bearing and the distance. Okay? So we can do this a number of different ways. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on my EBL and my VRM. But before I actually do that, let's go ahead and put our mark. So I'm going to go ahead, so I got my tools, and I come here and I click add, and I can put a mark on target 1, okay, and then I can put a mark on target 2, all right, and I can put another mark on target 3, all right, and another mark on target 4, all right, and these marks are kind of nice. They're going to maintain the same relative bearing and range and distance throughout this exercise, so we'll always be able to see where the targets were when we first started. But we're also going to have trails going, so you don't really need both, but a lot of people like to have them. Okay, so anyway, so now what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the range and bearing to that, and it looks to me like this guy here is, let's see here. So I can read right up here in this corner here, okay? So let me grab right there, okay? And it looks to me like the range and bearing to that target is about, at time 0, okay, is 7.5 nautical miles. It's 7.5 degrees, 0, 0, 7.5 bearing, and the range is 10, okay? So, all right, so those are your 2 numbers for that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag this over here, all right? And I'm going to put it right there on this one, and the EBL is 044, and the range is 10 nautical miles, okay? So now I'm going to do it a third way. I'm going to take my cursor, just show you a different way, another way. I'm going to take my cursor, I'm going to put the right there, okay, and it looks to me, now I can read down here, all right. It looks to me like that target is about 5.9 at 135. So you should write that down. Target 3 is 5.9 nautical miles at 135. And just to check, let's take this, drag this down over here, and we'll see that we should get about the same answer. Okay, let's see, I'm a little bit off. You want to have that EBL right through the middle of the target, okay? And I've got 135, 5.9. Yep, so basically the same amount, same information. Target 4 is, looks like target 4 is 201 at 7.5, and target 5 looks to be at about 3, let's see here, 347 at 10, okay? 347 at 10 nautical miles. So that's our 5 targets. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the simulation, okay? So now, in the real world, there wouldn't be any pause, okay? You'd have to be collecting the data on the fly, but since in this first lab, we're taking it easy on you here, okay? So now, you can see the clock is ticking down here now. When it gets to 12:06, we're going to take the data again, and we're going to take it in the same order. I took this one first, so I'm going to take it first next time as well, okay? So what you should be doing now is taking all those range and bearings that we pulled off the screen and transferring them to your plotting sheet, all right? And plotting them. All right, and your goal is going to be able to do that in about 2 or 3 minutes. Today, it's probably going to take you most of the 6 minutes, but your goal is to be able to do that in about 2 or 3 minutes because next week we're going to show you something else you're supposed to plot. So anyway, I'm just going to let this thing run for another 5 minutes, all right, and then we'll collect the data at time M. Now you can already see that because of the trails, you can see that you can see the relative motion to some of these targets, okay, and we'll come back. So go ahead and do your plotting. right, so we're at 5 minutes, so you got about another minute. Hopefully you finished plotting those R's, those time zeros, okay? Those were valid at noon. It's 5 minutes later. We're getting ready to collect our M's at time 6. I'm going to go ahead, when it comes down, I'm going to pause, okay? But in real life, obviously, ships wouldn't just stop to let you collect the data, and we'll talk about that more in the lab. So if you haven't gotten it, just finish that up, and hopefully you'll be done with that within the next 30 seconds if you're not done already. Okay, so we're at time 6 now, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to collect the data on those targets again, all right? So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my EBL DRM, and target 1, okay, looks to be about 8.9 at 8.5, okay? So, yeah, that looks to me like that is about, like I said, yeah, 8.9 degrees true at about 8.5 nautical miles. So write that down, all right? That's going to go on your sheet up here in this box in time 2, okay? So by the way, this is not the data for this particular one. I'm just showing you that box. All right, so now we're going to go to target 2, okay? So I come over here to target 2. And at target 2, it's 6 minutes. All right, looks to me like that guy's at about 0.43 and 0, yeah, maybe closer to 0.44. Yeah, 0.44 at about 8.4 nautical miles, okay? So that target 2 is 0.44 at 8.4 nautical miles. Now that one has, looks like the relative motion's having that come right towards the center. That's going to have a very close CPA. This guy's coming down my starboard side. So now let's go to target 3. Ooh, it has no relative motion. The dot's at the same spot. So that's telling me it's same course, same speed, but let's not worry about that right now. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get the range and bearing on target 3, and it should basically be the same as it was before, and that should be about, what do we got here? 135 at 5.9, okay? So, all right, and then we'll go to target 4. All right, target 4 looks like it's about 206 at 6.1. All right, so write that down for target 4, 206 at 6.1. And then we'll go on to target 5. All right, and target 5, oh, I got to get the bearing right. Bearing should be about right there. Okay, great. That's 341 at 7.2. Okay, so great. We've got that's 341 at 7.2. So now I'm gonna go ahead and we'll start the clock again. All right, and now you're gonna have the next 14 minutes until the clock down here says 12:20 to plot all those M's. Okay, so you're gonna plot all those M's. And then you're gonna draw from R to M. You're gonna draw the relative motion line. You'll draw it past the center, and then you're gonna answer for each one of these targets. Okay, you draw the relative motion line for this target, this one, this one, this one. Obviously, this one won't have one. You might be perplexed by that. But anyway, and then answer the 4 questions for each. What's the direction of relative motion? What's the speed of relative motion? What's the CPA and what's the TCPA? And at the very end of this video, I will show you the answer key. I'll just kind of put the camera on the answer key. All right? So, and by the way, your quiz next week, you should expect this to be in this kind of format. And when it hits 20, time's up. Okay, so this is just the target data that you more or less should have had for 0 and 6. Okay, so this was target 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bearing and range. Okay, so this is the bearing, this is the range. That's the bearing and the range for time 6. Target 2, bearing and range, time 6, bearing and range. Okay, and then here's what you should have ended up with for the answers. Okay,
So for target 1, there's your DRM, your SRM, your CPA, TCPA, target 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then these are going to be the tolerances that we're going to use for the for when we grade these things. Okay. So anyway, keep practicing.